Patriots and the Super Bowl. That's the Ferry Building behind us as we welcome you to the show. Marcus Spears, Mina Kimes, Ryan Clark, Dan Orlovsky. We're basking in the glow. Hello, everybody. Listen, we kind of have a sprinkling of a crowd here.
Oh my goodness, it's beautiful here.
Wow. Gorgeous background. That's the Bay Bridge.
Gorgeous
anyway, we'll keep showing you. We'll keep showing you all of the beautiful shots of San Francisco, but a lot to get to as Sal Paolantonio is going to join us right now. He's covering the Patriots and over there at the team hotel. Sal, what is the latest from the Patriots team today?
Well, you can't see him, Laura, and we can't show him for security reasons, but 5 big, beautiful touring buses just rolled into the team hotel here in Santa Clara for the New England Patriots to take them momentarily to Palo Alto, to Stanford University for the Wednesday practice of game week, which is always the big one. Mike Vrabel said the next 48 hours are critical, and they will go through every situation, first down, second down, and, of course, red zone. And on third down is very important, a critical down in Super Bowls, especially with the Patriots and the Seahawks. Get this number. 3 of the last 4 Patriots-Seahawks matchups have ended on the 1-yard line. You got to be ready for everything with these two football teams when they go against each other, especially Drake Maye as a runner. He had 63 scrambles this season during the regular season, and during the postseason, he had 9 for 125 yards. I'm not good at math, but that's 13 yards a carry. Here's Josh McDaniels talking about it.
He's going to have to, pick his spots. He hasn't forced it all year, and that's been an important part of him making plays with his legs. When he makes those decisions to go and make plays with his legs, it just adds a different element that the defense has to defend. So, there's probably going to be a few opportunities for that to happen on Sunday, and I hope he picks the right times to do it.
Yeah, you got to account for Drake Maye as a runner. Denver did not do that. Their spy operation didn't work. Seattle's been very good at it all season long. So as Josh McDaniels said, Drake Maye is going to have to pick his spots as a runner in Super Bowl 60, Laura.
I love it, Sal, and I'm glad you brought up Drake Maye's legs because we're going to spend some time on that here. Of course, checking in with Sal Paolantonio all week long as he covers the Patriots. Drake Maye ran for 65 yards in the AFC Championship, his second game with at least 65 rush yards this postseason after averaging 26.5 rush yards a game during the regular season. Maye is averaging 47 this postseason at nearly 6 yards a carry. The Super Bowl record for rush yards by a quarterback is 64 by Steve McNair in Super Bowl 34, so I wonder how Drake Maye will factor into history there. Dan, when you've seen Maye's run game, why do you think it could have an impact on Sunday specifically?
Because it happens at less traditional times than maybe we're accustomed to. I think that when Drake decides to run is going to be a big deal. A lot of times we've talked about it in the playoffs, and it's like third down. When Drake runs a lot on first and really second down, so those second down situations, not having to avoid the third and long when the pass rush, so number one, when he decides to do it, and then I think when Josh McDaniels decides to do it, we've seen them utilize designed quarterback runs down in the red zone more than they did in the regular season. There you see it, second down, he's taken off a lot and almost been as effective as he's been on third down. And so I wanted to talk to Marcus and Ryan about it. Is like when you guys as a defense are dealing with a quarterback that wants to be a little bit more aggressive on early downs, does that change rush? Does that change style?
Well, I think the first thing it changes play calls.
Yeah.
Right? If you are a coach, a defensive coordinator, you want to have eyes on the quarterback. So it's going to keep you out of man. It's going to keep you out of some of those pressures because you want your underneath coverage to be able to see Drake Maye. And then on the other side of that, it's not just Drake Maye using his legs to make big plays and gain first downs by running the football with scrambles. It's also the subtle movement that creates second play opportunities. And so sometimes when you are in those zones, you don't have the opportunity to plaster onto those guys, and they can create separation, which has created some big plays for the New England Patriots.
And then the fear up front is it's like a rock and a hard place. You don't want to take away your aggressiveness going after the quarterback, but you always want to be conscious about where you are in space. And a lot of times with Drake Maye, the way he escapes is up and through the center of the pocket because he's physical and powerful. So not only do you have to worry about containing him in your rush, you got to get him on the ground.
Is that everybody though? With one guy?
It's all hands on deck, right? This would be similar to Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Like that's the type of athlete that I think he is. Now, when it comes to his ability to also hit the deep shot, you can't be in between what is he going to do in this situation. It has to be that ability to be 100 miles an hour on your rush and everybody retracing and almost like feeling where your guys are as opposed to where he is, because he's dangerous if he gets going. And then when he gets out later in the game, it slows you.
Yeah.
And now he's sitting back there with an opportunity to push the ball down the field.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you focused on his ability to step up and run between the tackles. Since he came into the NFL, running between the tackles, 68% first down rate, which is the best of any quarterback in football. What I think is so interesting about this matchup is, so in preparation for this game, I thought, let me see how Seattle's handled mobile quarterbacks this year.
They haven't faced it.
They have only faced seven design quarterback runs on the season.
Yeah.
Wow.
And none of them went for first downs. Went back and watched the game against Jaden Daniels because I thought, it's probably the most indicative. They didn't spy him. They didn't play man coverage. They don't play a lot of man generally, and certainly didn't in that game. But I was shocked by how little regard like the linebackers had for him as a runner in that game.
I don't think they would spy Drake Maye.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I don't think
If
it's
you're not
like
going to
their
spy
DNA.
Jaden Daniels, you wouldn't spy Drake Maye, right?
And I think it would just compromise their coverage structure.
A part of it, too, is the athleticism of the backers. Like,
Right,
Warrior
trusting
is one of those
them.
guys. He can trace. Ernest Jones can trace. And then, too, remember, the other thing that makes Seattle really dangerous on defense is their big guys can run.
Yeah.
From
Right.
the interior.
Leonard, Byron.
All of those guys. So, pursuit for them, they are okay with giving up 5 yards because they feel like we're not going to give up the
Your
big
point about the backers and DBs, though, and how good they are at tackling and tracing, I think trace is what Danan said. If it's third and long, I think Nick Emenwari can chase down Drake Maye.
Right.
But on first down, it's a little bit harder of a task, which is why I agree with you. I would run him more on early downs.
Yes.
Well, it's going to be whether or not these plays are design calls for Drake Maye, because I do believe some of the off-schedule things, some of the things that just happen instinctively are more difficult for a defense. When you have called quarterback runs, there's also tells in the way that you block these things. And a team like Seattle that is so locked in on alignment, assignment, and key, they can get to the football. But Drake Maye, with the improv skills and his ability to step up into the pocket, I believe make it even more difficult. And it's going to be like what Marcus says. If they can hit a couple of deep shots to loosen this team up, in my opinion, especially across the middle of the football field, it changes the way this defense reacts to Drake Maye.
I just think it'll be very interesting to watch Drake early on those early downs, first and second down, because you want to live in the world of, yes, if you see the seam go, but also not just bailing. And taking away chunk throws down the field. And then does Josh design certain runs or maybe even things on the perimeter to allow the legs to be a little bit more of a threat early to even up the numbers game?
It's got to think. You feel like in that first series of scripted plays, design quarterback run should be in there early. Maybe get him a little bit more
Put the fear in
comfortable.
them.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we are just getting started here.